the state Special Olympics and not having our coaches versus cancer golf.
Yeah, and it's sad because I love both of those events. I look forward to them every year. I will say that I'm blessed. I've been involved with Special Olympics now for about 20 years. They were hard up for board members, so Biff Horrocks from McDonald's and Jim Scott from the city and Adrian DeWint, the state director. They asked me to be on the board. I've been on there close, I guess, about a year now, a little over a year. And one thing, I will say this, Special Olympics Oklahoma staff have been incredible. I dreamed up an idea to do trading cards, like the old trading cards that you and I used to trade back and forth back when we
Yeah.
were young. I said, hey, since we can't have the games, why don't you create virtual trading cards? And they've been going crazy on those, and you can imagine how our athletes love that. And they're continuing to do that even now that we're past the date of what would have been, or right here at the date that would have been Special Olympics. So another thing we did a virtual opening ceremony, and John Holcomb was in Tulsa. I was here in my home office, and we had 3 athletes we interviewed, and we had the law enforcement torch run, and so we did the best that we could to have some kind of Special Olympics summer games, and of course everybody had to kind of do their own thing at home and continue to train, but we'll all be together again next year. But I'm very proud to be a part of that organization, and you know how I feel about Coaches versus Cancer. Kendria Cost, Dave Hunziker, and our whole group. You help out a bunch. Our student athletes are great, and just getting to know our cancer survivors. And I've told this story, but I won't go into detail. But I will just tell you, when I was told that I had cancer, I put my head down and thought, oh my gosh, the wind was knocked out of me. And then I thought about all these cancer kicking kids that I've introduced throughout the years, and now that I've met, so many of them, and they just inspired me to lift my head and get ready for the fight. And those are 2 organizations that I'm so proud of, and I hate that we didn't all get together, but like I said, we'll be together again soon.
Yeah, and I echo that with both of them. I need to ask Josh if he tuned into the to the Special Olympics virtual opening ceremony, because now he was all excited this morning, telling me that his baseball, has been reinstated, and
Right.
they play over in Mitch Park. And I said, well, next Wednesday, because he comes and works every Wednesday in the aerobic center at the Mitch Park Y. I said, next Wednesday, bring me your schedule because I'll come watch a game. So,
Awesome. That is very cool.
I've told him, I've been telling him the last couple of weeks. I said, you need to call Lincoln Riley. You need to get Lincoln's number from your dad and call Lincoln and say we need to play. We need to get going, Lincoln. Get with the spirit.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Another buddy of mine that's a Special Olympian, Todd Page, and we mentioned some events we didn't get to have. Well, Remember the Ten's another one, and he was going
Yeah.
to go with Jimmy and Lauren and I and be with the families and do the fun run. And he has just been beating me up. Sign me up yet. Sign me up yet. And at least we're planning on having the Remember the 10 run August 29th, so we won't miss out on a year on that one. But I just keep telling Todd, slow your roll, buddy. We're going to be there. It's just I haven't signed us up yet, but we got plenty of time to do it. But every time I see him or I get Facebook messages from him asking me if I've signed him up yet, so it's pretty funny. But we'll get to have Remember the 10 and Jason Pogue and everybody that worked so hard on that. We appreciate their looking for another date, and hopefully we'll be together on the 29th of August.
Well, there's so many things I want to get into with Larry Reece, and so let's get to the business part of this first. He is the
Okay?
senior associate athletic director for fundraising at Oklahoma State, so he's involved in a lot of these meetings that go on and discussions. And I know we had a caller call the other day from Texas. It's a season ticket holder and has been a long time season ticket holder and wanted to know what we knew. And I said, well, I know they've been working hard. I know the hope is that by the time we get going, that we'll be able to have at least some semblance of a crowd inside Boone Pickens Stadium. But I know that you guys have worked on a lot of things. What can you tell fans right now, without really getting into a lot of speculation about what you guys have looked at, what you're hearing along those lines?
Well, I tell you, I hate to disappoint the caller, and I check because I'm not in every meeting. So I called Jesse Martin today. Just said, "Hey, have you guys had? Because I haven't been in any meetings where we've talked about what if we can't have a full stadium. And he goes, no, we really haven't talked about that. And the reason is we're planning on having football season, and we're planning on having, it just be business as usual. Now, you got to kind of prepare for the worst, but we really haven't, because Robert, think about all the scenarios you could have. You could have 25% attendance. You can have 50% attendance. You can have 75%. It's going to depend on your stadium setup, and we just feel like it's a little bit futile to really try to run all those scenarios right now. What we're trying to do is get everybody to renew. And I talked to Andy Summerall this morning, and I've been kind of keeping track on what we're doing, versus this time last year. And 3 weeks ago, we were only down 1%. And we're like, you got to be kidding. We're in a pandemic, and our loyal and true fans have us right about the same pace we were last year. They're so excited about Cuba and Thailand and Spencer in a second year under center, and or I guess behind center is how we do it most of the time. But every once in a while we're up under center. But it's amazing to me. And then last week we had slipped to we were 3.4% down, which is still unbelievable. This week we have rallied a little bit, and we're only just slightly over 2% down off what our pace was last year on ticket sales. So to me, that's incredible. And we've been making a lot of calls, talking to people, and trying to make sure that we're not missing anything if somebody was going to drop. And I really haven't had anybody say, and Matt Grantham and Sean Taylor on my staff, and I think Ellen and Jesse say, well, I don't think we've had anybody say they're not renewing because of the coronavirus. Now, we've had some say, hey, I'm waiting to the very last minute, and we had some people do that, and which is understandable because they want to have as much information as possible. Are we going to play? But yeah, I hate to disappoint the caller. We really haven't talked. Now, we've been on some Big 12 calls where some other schools are kind of doing that, and we think they're just a little bit. They're spinning their wheels. That that's going to be. There's so many different scenarios. How are you going to figure it out? So we're just kind of going as much business as usual as possible as far as selling season tickets, and we hope everybody will renew. Now, we know this. If for some reason the season's canceled, we'll refund your money, or we'll move your money to the following season. Or I've been amazed at how many people I've talked to that said, hey, I know football drives everything, and if we don't have a football season, I've already kind of budgeted that I'm going to spend that money on tickets. I'm going to turn that into an outright donation. And I mentioned this to you before. We've cleared that through the foundation, that if somebody wants to turn their ticket purchase money into a donation, we'll do that. Shoot it through the foundation, and you'll get a tax receipt for 100% tax deduction.
And Larry, let me stop you there for a second, because as we were talking with this caller on yesterday, I said, now one of the things they're going to be asking about is if things go sour, are you willing to turn your season ticket purchase into a donation? And I said, caller, I've already told Larry Reece that I don't go ahead, turn my ticket purchase into a donation. Apparently, this is a season ticket holder you've spoken to, because he said I told Larry the same thing. I said,
that's awesome.
If need be.
It really warms my heart.
He's one of your guys down in Texas.
It warms my heart, Robert, because it's amazing. We always say we're loyal and true. And I know there's somebody, now don't get me wrong, if you've been furloughed,
tough times,
your job, you haven't been able to work as many hours, I understand if you need your money back. I'm not saying you're not loyal and true. I'm just amazed at those loyal and true folks that have already said, and I've had a bunch of them say, I'm giving it to you because I care about cowgirl softball and cowboy baseball and cowboy wrestling and our basketball squads and track and equestrian and tennis, all of our programs. And so they get the fact that, $77 million of our $85 million budget this past year was derived from football. We've always said football's the engine that drives the train, and, man, does that make it evident. And so people get it. If we don't even play, or even say we just can't have fans in the stands, so we're going to get the TV revenue of it, but we're losing, I think it's $37 million in season tickets. Same thing.
And assorted.
you're going to get to watch it from your couch, but Can you donate your money?
Yeah. So anyway, that's something to think about. All right, let's get to the fun stuff.
Yes,
I got to ask you now. Yeah, I'm sure you think your seat in Gallagher Iba is the better seat. You're right
yes.
there, front and center.
Yep.
And I've been in your booth in Boone Pickens Stadium. It's not very big, by the way. It's pretty, pretty tight in there because I know you've got a spotter and some assistants. But how does your seat right there at Boone Pickens? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Now, back in old Louisville days, I was kind of in the middle. The money's in the middle now. We put all the suites over there in the
Right.
middle, and Boone Pickens is on the middle, and you get that. I mean, that
Yeah.
helped us pay for this stadium. So they moved me down to it'd be the west end zone, and it takes a little getting used to. It did take a little getting used to, and you might, if there's a close goal line play on the east side, you might notice that I don't immediately tell you it's a touchdown or it's a first down that way. We kind of wait, and we kind of got to wait on the officials to tell us because we're so far. We're over 100 yards away from that, probably 150 from the far corner, and so we wait a little bit on that. But we've gotten used to it. I've got good spotters. Although I will say this: all four of us up there, my three spotters and myself, we're all getting older, so our eyes aren't getting any better. So you may hear me slow down even further, but. Got some good guys up there. Jason Polk's one of them. I mentioned that is one of the directors of the Remember the 10 run, and then lefty Steve Baumhoff, who's a longtime buddy. We went to college together, and then Chuck Lester, who's I think I always get this confused. I think it's his dad was the first Pistol Pete to wear the head, and he's been the band announcer forever. And I tell you, you mentioned tight quarters. Chuck Lester's about half what Chuck Lester used to be, so we've got a little more elbow room up there now. But he's looking good, and he's been helping me forever. And we've gotten used to it up there. And I do love that seat because you can see everything that's going on, and you can see all the folks in orange at the game. And by the way, everybody get back to wearing orange. We're really pushing that now. I don't just say go Pokes when I'm on the air. I say wear orange and go Pokes because we want to get back in orange.
Okay. And I'm kind of pushing that with Justin Williams that we need to wear. We wore a lot of black at home last year, and I
Yeah.
said we really need to get more orange.
But orange in the crowd makes such a statement. I agree with you on the field, but you know who we're for if we're wearing our orange, whether we're on the road or at home, and it just looks so good. And I think we've just gotten a little lax. So I said, let's go back to the old Terry Don and Harriet Phillips strategy, and let's just push it all the time. Let's get signs up, and I know our marketing and ticket folks are doing that, and so we just want to stress wear orange and go folks. But you mentioned the two seats. I love my seat in Boone Pickens Stadium. Yes, I love being right there close to midcourt. I can hear what the officials are saying. I can hear how many times the opposing coach
heck,
F bombs. It's a lot of fun.
well, heck, you help the officials with the calls sometimes. I know that.
I do, and I've kept the yelling guy, our good buddy, in the facility a couple of times when an officials come over and ask me to have him removed. And so I asked Mark Whitehead one time. He came, I want that guy kicked out, and I can hear everything our buddy says. So he doesn't cuss, he doesn't ever threaten. I said, for what? And he goes, well, he called me Mark, which is the funniest thing because your name's Mark. I go, really? And he just said, never mind. He just ran off. So I always tell our buddy that I kept him in there that time. But it's funny, our officials hate being called by their first name. If a fan does their research,
Yeah.
finds out who you are, or has learned who you are through the years, they just hate that. I'm like, you think that's better than being called some derogatory name, but it just offends them to be called by their first or even their full name.
All right, let me ask you to do me a favor. Let me.
Yes,
I don't normally do this. We keep it one segment, but let me take a break early here, and can
you
we
got
take
it.
you to the top of the hour?
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll take a timeout. Larry Reece, Senior Associate Athletic Director and the stadium and in arena voice of Oklahoma State Athletics with us. And we'll come back with him here at Freddie's. I'm outside. I'm enjoying the sun and a little
Awesome.
breeze out here. It's nice. And we'll come back to Freddie's with Larry right after this. You can call us. If you got a question for Larry, we can take your call. 533-1020, 533-1051. Those are 405 area codes. 866-229-1020, 866-229-1020. That is the Chris's University Spirit line and, of course, the TPT line. I probably should check those. Maybe we'll get a TPT for Larry, and that's 405-385-4221. Make sure you designate that it's for Larry, and I'll look. And if not, because we'll address the other ones later.
Hey,
So,
Robert, can I say one
yeah,
thing
yeah.
that I should have said earlier? I mean, with the question pertaining to if we have limited, number of fans inside the stadium, just know this: uh, OSU athletics, we're going to treat you the way we would want to be treated. We always say we're family. We're going to treat you like family, and we're going to find a way to make it fair and equitable and all those things. But hopefully, we don't get there. And everybody maybe has to wear masks, and which is, I think I don't know many people that wouldn't wear a mask to watch little Cowboys football. Put it that way. So if we have to do some of those things, just to have it, I bet everybody will get on.
My wife has started sewing masks, and she's sewn
Yep.
me 3 or 4 different masks, and I said, "Honey, I don't need this many." And she goes, "No, I just always want you to have one available." And I said, "Oh, that's nice." And she goes, "By the way, you look a lot better wearing them."
Yeah, I've heard that too. I got the perfect face
What
for radio, so I've heard that too. But you know
what's
what they
that
are,
mean?
Robert? They're accessories. So you need different styles, different kinds, and different things for different outfits. You got to look good. It's kind of like we were talking the other day. It's kind of like hats. You put on different hats for different occasion or different outfits. So come on, just accessorize with your mask.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why my wife thinks I look better with that mask covering most of my face.
Yeah, that's
You
funny.
know, hurt my feelings. Uh, hey, hey, let's get into. I wanted to ask you this because we talk about this with Dave a lot on radio when we're just sitting around, shooting the breeze. Give me your 5 favorite plays or sequences. We'll go football, basketball. Um, and if you want to pick another sport, that's because you've been involved in baseball, doing radio broadcasts. I know that you've been involved in a lot of different sports. But give me your 5. Now can't go back to Barry Sanders. You got to give me 5 you called either on radio
Like
or
plays,
PA. Huh?
plays, or just things from my
Plays
time I've been
or
here.
yeah, plays, or in basketball it might be a sequence or it might be an entire game,
Oh man, you're throwing this
or a
at me, and
finish or whatever. Yeah.
you're throwing it at me, and I'm feeling the pressure. I mean, obviously, the entire game when we won the Big 12 championship over OU, you can just call that one sequence right there because that was powerful stuff. We just demolished them. What was it, 44-10?
Yep.
And you know, maybe besides my daughter being born and marrying Jimmy on a beach in Destin, I should say. Those are probably the only two I'd put up there with winning the Big 12 championship over OU. That was some kind of night right there. I remember the sequence. It wasn't a play; it was a win over OU again, and our fans started carrying after they had brought down the upright. They started carrying the goalpost up, and they were going to throw it over the north side of the stadium. And I remember President Halligan came in. He goes, "Larry, I'm afraid they're going to throw that over." And I said, "It certainly looks like they're heading up there for a reason." And he's in my booth and he's just sweating. And he says, "Larry, what are we going to do?" And I said, "Well, hang on a second." I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to celebrate, I want to remind you, please do not throw the goalpost over the side of the stadium. There are people below." And it was hilarious. They just stopped immediately. They kind of shrugged their shoulders and they set the goalpost down in the stands. And I was President Halligan's hero for one moment. But that was one of the funnier moments, Robert. You remember that.
Oh yeah, and let me go back to your number one, the
Yeah.
2011 Bedlam win and Big 12 clinching win and Boone Pickens. I find this hilarious, and I like to kid him about it all the time. That season, Brandon Whedon, who was so spectacular,
Oh,
He threw a touchdown pass in every game that season except one. He did not throw a touchdown pass
isn't
in a
that crazy?
Bedlam
I'd
game.
forgotten that, but we just
Oh
ran
yeah.
over him, Robert. We just absolutely ran over him.
Oh, and the defense. Second half, Rashedi Jones scored, and then in the
Blatnick.
first half we had the fumble scoop
Yep.
that should have been a touchdown, but got
Yep.
stopped at the one. But the defense came up big that night too, which was fun for the defense.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm just trying to think of it. I mean, I've seen some great road games. I went down when with a bunch of buddies when the Texas punter dropped the snap, and Mason and the
Yeah, but I
boys ended
want
up
ones
kicking a
you
field
called.
goal.
I
Okay,
want
ones
ones
I
you
called.
called.
Okay, all right. I love the game that Brandon Wheaton came in. What was it? Alex Cate didn't complete a
Yeah.
pass
Oh
0 for 9
gosh.
or something in the first half, and
Yeah,
Brandon
he
Wheaton
was
came in against
oh for 10 with a
Colorado and
pick.
engineered the comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great one. Uh, beating Nebraska was just unbelievable when we had the big boys up front. But Brown and Kevin Williams and those guys. I mean, I think Massey maybe got an interception at the end. It seems like, but I'm fuzzy. I don't remember every detail of every play like you do.
Well,
But anytime you beat
are
Nebraska,
you saving basketball? Because I'm thinking, got to be some basketball
oh, I
ones up
thought you were
here
splitting
now.
them up, football, basketball.
No,
Okay,
you can.
yeah,
No,
no, you're right. You're right.
I
So let
wasn't
me
killing you. I said five overall. You can blend them.
overall. Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
you don't
Let's
have to
switch
do five of
gears.
each.
Okay. All right. I thought I really had pressure. I had to come up with 10, and then you want to go to another sport. But basketball, um, you know, I'm 20 feet away from country hitting the half court shot.
Yeah,
And,
I knew that would be
uh,
on there.
oh, it has to be because Milton Brown, who had played at NEO, where I'm from, Miami, throws the pass, and country's supposed to catch it and throw it to one of the two best players in OSU history, shooters that is, Randy Rutherford or Brooks Thompson, and he bobbles it. So he just turns around, flips it up. If you watch the replay, especially from Milton Brown's perspective in the end zone, you see Country, and I saw it live, put his hands up in the air like, oh, that's good. Which is crazy. When you throw one up from that distance, normally you don't just think, oh, that's good. You're hoping it's
Unless you're
good.
Michael Jordan.
Unless you're Michael Jordan, or maybe Steph Curry, but I mean, he put that up, and he immediately knew it was good. And so, how on the scores table, yeah, they're supposed to be unbiased, and maybe the inflection in my voice isn't always unbiased. I'm trying to do everything I can for the folks, but you're supposed to be unbiased and not show any favoritism. Almost everybody on the scores table, the way I remember it, we all threw our hands up in the air like him after it went in. It was just crazy. And all of a sudden, we stuck our hands back under the table, like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? And then about that time, Storm and Norman Stewart stormed right at a young announcer named Larry Reece, and I'm still in college. And all of a sudden, I've got the dean of Big Eight coaches just crawling up my tailpipe, and he is madder than a hornet that he says we didn't start the clock. And the reason he's throwing a fit is because he knows his team has lost the game. Remember, the game is tied
Yeah, we're going to
with
overtime.
that shot. We're going to overtime, but he knows it is over. And he just gets all over me. And finally, I kind of lift my microphone up, and I'm like, hey, I'm not the shot. I'm not the scoreboard. And I point at my buddy Kent Bunker and just throw him under the bus. So Norm
Yeah.
turns his ire to my buddy Kent Bunker. But I guess I folded to the pressure. But that was one of the all-time great nights, and it's amazing how many people had left that game because they thought it was over. Nobody will admit they left that game, but a lot of people did.
Yeah, it was fun, and that was back when the media sat down, on down and low on the other side before we had the Jack Nicholson seats, and I'm just telling you, I wasn't as close as you were, but I was close enough that I can still close my eyes and see that replay, just
Oh,
conjure it up in my brain, and I
yep.
can see it right down to the country bobble. and then he
Yep.
throws it up, and it was one of those. I think I don't know. I said it out loud, but I think I was going, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh yeah, yeah."
Yeah.
You know,
I know. I think we all were because you're not thinking he's going to shoot. But, for years, when Coach Sutton could do this, he'd draw that play up and say, "Yeah, no, I told Country to grab it and shoot it from half court." So he changed the
yeah,
story jokingly, of course, but
yeah.
that's one of the greatest moments I've ever witnessed. And then another one that I enjoyed personally, and I know our fans did too, but I don't know if it was '93 or '94, but we host Billy Tubbs and the boys, and Brooks Thompson and Randy Rutherford and Country put on a show, and we put a whooping on 'em. And Billy Tubbs gets upset at the end and says something to Ed Hightower, and Ed Hightower comes over, and the crowd doesn't know this. I'm the only one that he talks to at this moment, other than the scorebook. Pat Hoffler, I think, was sitting there, and he said, "It's a technical, and I have ejected Coach Tubbs. If you would let the crowd know." And do you think I was excited to make that announcement? I mean, I was thrilled to death. So I gave the first news about the technical, and I said, "And Coach Tubbs has been ejected," and that was one of the loudest roars I've ever heard in that place. As he went out with his short sleeve, I think Hawaiian shirt, and I think that's when he grabbed the Channel 4 camera, wasn't it? And
Yes,
and
yes.
broke something off of the camera. So and I know you want to comment on that, but I've grown to love Billy through the years because I see him at a charity golf tournament over in Enid. So Ryan Cameron, Matt Grantham, and Jimmy and I take a picture with Billy Tubbs every year. We would be doing that in June again this year, but the tournaments had to be postponed. But I now have become friends with Tommy Tubbs because he's always there. So he's friends with me on Facebook and gives me
Uh,
updates.
th-
And one
they're
of my
season
dreams was
ticket
to bring
holders now
Billy
for
in.
football.
What's that?
They're season ticket holders now for football.
Oh
Tommy, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, that's
Pat,
right.
Pat, and
Yeah,
Billy, and Tommy and his wife, because Billy's grandson and Tommy's nephew is going to be a recruited or walk on
recruited walk
receiver.
on. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Tommy
he's a
texted
good
me that
player.
when it happened.
He's a
He
good
was
little
so
player.
excited. Yeah, he was so excited that he was coming here. Tommy Tubbs was, and he said Billy was as well. But what I tell Billy every year is, man, it just hadn't been the same. I loved hating you in Gallagher Iber Arena, and he just laughs. And, he's actually a good guy. But one of my dreams was to bring him and have him sit next to Coach Sutton at a game. And the time we had it set up, Billy came down with the flu and was like, "I'm not going to go and get Coach sick."
Yeah.
And so he wasn't sure if he was still, contagious. So we didn't get it done. But I think our crowd would have liked that, Robert. I don't know what you think, but I would have
No.
probably had him booing too, just to make him feel at home. But it would have been a funny moment.
Yeah, we could do this all day long, and but we got to go. We got to get out of here. We got to get a break in. Top of the hour. But yeah, it's kind of fun that Billy and Pat Tubbs and Tommy and his wife, season ticket holders, and can't wait. Yeah,
I
and I
love it.
told him, Tommy told me because I talked to Tommy a bunch, and he said, Robert, I don't have any orange in my closet. And I said, well, you know what? I make up for it. I don't have any red in mine either, Tommy. But I tell you what, I'm gonna get you some orange, and I've already bought him 2 polos that
That's
uh,
sweet.
that
Well, you need to just
that
tell
that
him where
he'll look
Chris's
good in.
University
He
Spirit
and they're
is and
both
where all the good
orange.
shops are. Yeah. That's
So
going to
we'll
be fun. And Robert, I enjoyed talking to you today. Anytime you want to visit, holler at me, and appreciate your
hey,
friendship and just appreciate all of our fans, renewing their tickets. Keep doing it.
yeah, and you mentioned the Remember the Tens reschedule for August 29th. What's the date? Because what do we know the date on the Hall of Fame, or have they adjusted that yet for
I
the
think it's about
virus?
the same time. Yeah,
I think it is.
I think it is the same day actually.
I do too. So
And I know,
yeah,
I've always said if they wait to put Coach in until he's gone, I will never darken the doors of that Hall of Fame. But they finally, even though way too late, did the right thing. And so I think we should all roll out for Coach. Even if Coach can't be there, I think we should all roll out and just show the love for Eddie Sutton because he is a deserving Hall
well.
of Fame.
I will say this to OSU and Eddie Sutton fans: if you can make it to Springfield, great. If you make it to the Remember the 10 run, you're honoring Coach Sutton either way.
That's right. That's
So
exactly right. Great point, Robert.
all right. Hey, I appreciate it, Larry.
All right, wear orange and go Pokes. Thanks,
All
Robert.
right.